Hi guys, today we have our next video in a series of fan requested videos that I'm doing. This is probably one of the most requested videos that I have. It was requested to me by Bloody2019, and he suggested for me to discuss my thoughts on alternate versions of Skylanders, aka variants. In this video, I will going to be discussing what variants are, what type of variants are there, and what are my thoughts are on just variants as a whole. So, variants are Skylanders that don't alter the figure's pose, or even what they do in the game, but instead the color of the figure itself. Regular variants like Gnarly Tree Rex have the same pose as original figures, but the colors are completely different, sometimes achieving a theme to the variants. Variants have another form. Chase variants are Skylanders who have a different coat of paint on the figure but do not show up in game, unlike regular variants which do show up in game. For example, Metallic Spyro shows up in SSA as a regular Spyro. I'm going to be discussing everything about Chase variants right now so that I could just put the focus on the video onto regular variants as opposed to a joint of Chase and regular. In my opinion, paying for a Skylander figure with a different coat of paint is just pointless. None of the Chase variants look that cool anyway. 90% of them just being a solid coat of blank paint, especially because nowadays Chase variants go for hundreds of dollars depending on the figure, so it's really not worth it to me to have the same exact figure just with like a different color, and it doesn't even give you an in-game variant. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It just seems dumb to me. And they're being gouged for some reason on places like eBay, which is why I really don't like Chase variants at all. Regular variants don't add any bonus into the actual game. Like, you're not getting so and so amount of coins or any a special attack power because you're using a regular variant. It's just you have the different color of a figure in the game, which it's pretty cool. But in my opinion, they don't add too much, and it's not worth it to me to buy the same exact figure just with a different paint. But I understand why other people definitely buy variants. Most of the variants that do come out or have come out, they look pretty good. And then there was candy coated chopscotch. But all jokes aside, Skylanders introduced many different types of variants. Here is the full list of different kind of variants that were introduced in the games: Dark, Legendary, Gnarly, Granite, Jade, Molten, Polar, Punch, Royal, Scarlet, Enchanted, Jolly, Kickoff, Nitro, Quick Draw, Springtime, Volcanic, Excellent, King, Love Potion, Nitro, Power Punch, Winterfest, Birthday Bash, Excited, Frightful, Mistletoe, Power Blue, Steel Plated, Candy Coated, Egg Bomber, Hard Boiled, Jingle Bell, Mystical, and Solar Flare. And while that does seem like a lot of variants, and it is, I mean I didn't even name any of the Chase variants. I just named the regular variants that show up in game. And I'm not going to go over every variant because that would just take way too long and get really boring of a video. And as you can see, there are a lot of variants, most of which only having one Skylander as a part of its variant class. For example, there's only one excellent Skylander, and there's only one King Cobra Cadabra. I mean, there's not going to be another, like, for example, like a King Funny Bone. Like, that just doesn't work. There's only a King Cobra Cadabra. One thing that I really do like about the appearance of variants is that if a regular version of a Skylander is really expensive and you can't find one, you could get a variant for the Skylander that might be cheaper. Prime example of this, and probably the most used example of this, is Jingle Bell Chompy Mage. I mean, regular Chompy Mage is insanely expensive, and Jingle Bell is cheaper. I'm not going to say it's cheap because he's not, but Jingle Bell Chompy Mage is a bit cheaper than regular Chompy Mage. And there are countless examples, but that's the one that really comes to mind for the most part. And One thing that I really do like about variants, and I'm not upset that there are variants, even though I'm not a huge fan of variants, or at least a personal collector. I do like that there are variants. Just that I'm not particularly going to collect variants. But I'm going to be going over the biggest two variants that are making appearance in every game. The Dark variants and the Legendary variants were the two big variant types in the series. The Dark Skylanders all featuring a black and silver coat of paint, whereas for the first 5 games, Legendaries had a black and gold coat of paint, and was later switched in the 6th game to red and gold. I wasn't too big of a fan of the switch, but it doesn't really matter in the end, so I just went with it. Anyway, on to my thoughts. For the most part, I think that variants are cool for the diehard collectors. I personally don't collect variants, as I said, but I have a few of them, and I enjoy the ones that I have. The reason I'm not into collecting variants is just because they're different coat of paint, and they don't add anything in the game. And they look cool, but it's just not my thing. But I do have to get that freaking elusive Chompy Mage. I'm starting to think I'm never going to find him.